We're here at the famous Alley Studios in North Hollywood talking about the T model guitar from Newport Player Guitars. So let's get into more of the features and sounds. So let's talk about the neck. From the top, it's 16:1 ratio Goto tuners. 16:1 is a great ratio. There are higher, you can get 18:1, there are lower. Higher, you're tuning too much to get to the note. Lower, you can't dial in an accurate thing. But this, you can make adjustments on the fly. You get there really quick. You can drop down to drop D tuning if you want to do that. And that's real quick. So 16:1 is really great. No friction string trees and a bone nut. So when you bend, you're bending from the saddle. It's sliding through here. It's sliding through the nut. It's pulling through it. And you want it to go back and be back in pitch. And it does that, no friction at all. Some people would put pencil lead, and I still do that. I put pencil lead in my nuts. But I hadn't had to do that with these. But just take a pencil, just a regular number 2 pencil, and you just sort of write in the grooves, and it acts like a lubricant. Some guys would put graphite in there. It all works. It all works. But the idea is that you don't want any, to tune up, you don't want anything sticking and knocking, and you wanted a smooth transition for every little increment, every little cent increment to get to your note. The radius is 10" to 16", which is really cool. It's a compound radius, and rosewood fingerboard and maple neck. This one at block inlays and jumbo frets. The back of the neck is really cool. These are light finish necks. From here to there on the back is lightly finished. You don't want a non-finish. You don't want a neck that doesn't have any finish on it, because then you'll have all sorts of problems with humidity and everything else. But light finish is really cool because your hands slide. It's almost like it feels like it's raw wood. Back in the 80s, there was a thing where players would be shaving off and sanding off the backs of their necks. They sand all that heavy finish and nitrocellulose off the backs of the necks to get that smooth feel. Not a great idea, but you've got that already built in. Let's see. Oh, and the 6 saddle Goto tuners. So the intonation's really good. You don't have to worry about that type of thing. With these types of guitars, 3 saddles can be a little bit problematic. You can get it intonated, but there'll always be, even with compensated saddles, there'll be a little. You'll be sort of splitting the difference on some things. Now with this one, it's great for jazz too. So all the typical stuff, but it's also really good for jazz. And normally you'd back off on the tone, maybe back off on the volume, right? So. But and that sounds great, but there's a really cool thing that back in the day, Fender made Esquires with only one pickup. Esquires only had one pickup, and they used them for jazz. And there was 2, volume and tone, and there was a switch, but the switch went through different tone circuits. So with that idea, you can actually use the back pickup, the treble pickup for jazz, and it's a very interesting sound. You roll the tone off real far. Cool sound. It also does stuff like, if you use the middle pickup, it's good for reggae. Put a little echo on there. Caribbean. And it takes pedals really well too. If you do, let's see, maybe something. So that's it. Go to newportplayerguitars.com, see what they have on the website. You'll see a picture of each one with the features. You'll have sound samples there. And again, the prices are affordable. It's great stuff that we've been talking about, but you can afford it. You can have a bunch of them in your rack if you're touring, and it's not going to break the bank. You don't have to worry about it. It's not a showpiece that you're going to stick on the wall and worry about. These are meant to be played and played hard, and it's going to be your #1 guitar. And see you next time.